Hi, and welcome to the Scrapping Studio. My name is Tracy Walker, Creative Memories Advisor in Des Moines, Iowa. And welcome to what I like to call an OG recipe. This is a project recipe that I created using the Hide Eek Collection from Creative Memories, as you can see here. We are going to need 2 sheets of cardstock, 2 sheets of the Songflower blue cardstock, 1 sheet of pumpkin cardstock, a sheet of monster portrait paper, which is this paper, and then the orange star paper and the spooky eye paper, along with the Songflower blue paper. I have a scrap and a full sheet, and then a sheet of the pumpkin cardstock. You will also need stickers. Let me pull those aside. So you will need these stickers as well as some sort of shape. You could just cut it out of white paper. This is a die cut that I had on hand. And let me kind of show you what it's going to look like when we're all said and done. Um, so we're using the black cardstock and then um, creating the spider webs. We're going to use the spider web punch for this border up here as well as tearing. So let's get started. I'll put that to the side, and then I'm going to put our black cardstock to the side for a moment while we do our cutting. So I'm going to cut, the monster paper is 4.5. And so let me get my trimmer out. So we're going to cut at 4.5 twice. And then 4.5, one more. Right. And that's going to be scrap. I'm going to throw aside. So that is going to be what I call paper A. And I just, you ever have that where you're like, I put stuff out that I need and then it disappears? Okay, so that's paper A. Now the next one is going to be the, wrote it on the, was on the wrong side. All right, A. There we go. I'm going to put that up here for the moment. And then the next is going to be the orange paper. And orange paper is going to be 4 by 12. So you want to look and make sure you cut it such that, so this is 4 and then 4, because this is going to be going horizontal across your page. So we've got those two, and that's paper B. And then that's a scrap. And then the eyes, you want to make sure you turn them because they're going to be 3 inches. So we've got 1 and then 2. All right, put that scrap aside. So now we're going to take the Songbird Blue and we're going to use the spider punch. If you've never used any of our punches, what's really nice is they will easy storage, and then that pops up. If you see here, there's two black lines here and here, and we're going to match up with the right black line, and we're punch down. So you punch and then you move it over to cover up the blue, and then you just keep going down. All right, we have cut down one side, and now we're going to cut down the other side of my paper, and then we'll trim them at 1.5 inches. All right. And what you want to make sure is that your paper, to keep it punching straight, is you cover up the blue and you make sure this is pushed up against this little ledge right there. And once you've kind of done it a few times, you kind of figure out where you're at for those. All right, so now we've got, this is the debris. I've seen people make little spiders out of this one with like, they make some spiders and then they put a circle head on them and stuff. I've seen that. That's really cool. We'll get our trimmer back out and we're gonna cut at 1.5. Okay, so if I'm cutting, bringing the paper in to the left and it's under 1.75 inches, it's easier when you have a full sheet to do the short side. So that's 1.5 and then 1.5. Another tip is if you have to cut like tiny, um, 1/4 inch pieces, I would cut those first before cutting the bigger ones because it's easier to cut the little ones when you have a full sheet of paper versus trying to cut them when you've got just a little strip. It tends to kind of, for me, it kicks up. But you could also use some repo tape runner and tape runner, adhere it down to the strip. So we're going to continue until we have 4 of these. That's 3, and this will be the last one. Excuse me. Kind of dry today. Supposed to rain at some point, at least for us here in the Midwest, and it could snow, but I think most of the snow is going to stay north of us. So, all right. What's great about these project recipes that I love is just because this was originally made with the Hide Eek Collection, then it could also be used with, and I don't need this anymore, so I'm gonna set it to the side. You could use any collection. Like let's say you've got the Booyah collection from last year, or I have a Christmas collection. So I love taking project recipes and making them my own um to whatever I want um for that. All right, so now we've got 4 of those. Now we need 4.25. Try and get that lined up. Then I've got a scrap. And then we're going to cut. I like flipping this upside down for me because then I can see it really, really well. Even though the numbers are upside down, I can see better. All right, so 4.25, 4.25, and then this one is going to be 3.25. So I've got a little scrap. All right, we've got all those mats. And then the next set of mats is just those 4.25 and 4.25. So I'm gonna cut that. That's gonna be scrap. And then I need 2 more. 4.25 and 4.25. And that is scrap. Our last sheet is going to be the pumpkin cardstock. And we're gonna go 575. So I'm gonna do that twice because then I can close my arm. And that's why I like having it down here. Sorry, my computer got moved. There we go. And that is scrap. And then we can close this. And we're going to cut, we need 4 5.75 by 3.75. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then one more makes 4. And then we can start putting this together. All right, and that is scrap. We'll be done with that. All right, we got our these two. So the first thing what we're going to do is we're taking our orange paper. Now, what we want to make sure is it is upside down. So we have it upside down, and then we're going to flip it over. And then first one, it's going to be 4 inches from the right, which is the 8 inch. And then I'm just going to start tearing it down to, I would say, about 1.5 inches on the bottom. All right. So now you can see when you flip it over that these guys are going to be right side up. So I'm going to fold this, and then I'm going to fold this. Now, one thing you can do if you don't like having a white edge in this edge, you can flip it, and then I'm going to tear it towards me and try to follow the same pattern, but only rip off a little bit. There we go. So then it's got that. So it's a little bit, let's do that. Okay. So now we've got it just like that. So that one is going to go on this side, and then get that out of the way. And then this one, I'm going to do 4 inches from the left. So just, it doesn't have to be exact, but, and then you just tear it down to about 1.5 inches from the bottom. So now, when I luckily, I have an extra piece. I did this, I wasn't paying attention. I got all excited. I want to make sure these are upside down. All right. Do the same thing. So make sure those are upside down. Not perfect, but it works. All right. So now we're about 1.5 inches. And I'm going to do this guy like that. And then this guy is, what we're going to end up doing is doing the same thing and just tearing it towards me. So then it has, and it went rogue. Let's see if I can tear it from this side. Because I don't want it to go too off. There we go. All right, so now we have it facing this way. And what we'll do is we'll take some adhesive. Some right there on that little there. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. So then this is adhered down. So you've kind of got that triangle. And you're going to do the same thing over here. All right, so now we've got, they're going to be on the inside here because we've got the monster. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the eyes. So I'm going to make sure the eyes are going the way we want them to. And then, oops. We can get this to cooperate. All right. There we go. So now we've got that. Just a little more repo right there. So now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Put there. Make sure we got the eyes going in the right direction. And then I find it easiest to do this edge first and then match it up to here. Even if we end up a little bit off, we can do some trimming. Let's see here. This is what I love about repositionable tape runner, because when you don't exactly get it right, you can just kind of pull it up and redo it. Okay, so we are going to have to trim a little bit off the edge here because it's a little, just with the tearing, it sometimes comes off a little bit. All right, here we go. Now, what we'll need next is our spider webs. And what we're going to do is we're just going to run a piece down the bottom. And we're going to we're just going to put it right up to the edge of where the spider web starts. So we're not going to have any parts showing. All right, so we've got that. And then we're going to do the other side. So same thing, put adhesive down it. And we'll just run it down there just like that. And then we'll do the second one. Right. And one more to go. I love this spider web punch. I know it's a couple years old, but it still is perfect for anything you want to do for Halloween. All right, so we want to make sure these are going to be on, the tears are on the inside. So what I'll do is I'm going to put this about 1/8 of an inch from the top. So it's just a little bit of space. And then we'll do that on the same side. On this side. And then same amount of space, about 1/8 of an inch. Put this to match up better. There we go. Alrighty. Mid heats up right there. All right. So we've got that on there. Now we're going to put on our monster portrait. I love this paper. There's endless things you can use it for. I've on other layouts, I've cut out the little portrait paper. I've also, there's the stickers have the little portraits on it too. And I've popped those out on some of my other layouts for that. I just think they're really fun. All right, so we're good. We've got our monster paper on each side. Now we're gonna look at it's getting our all right, so we've got and this guy and this guy. make sure we got them lined up with the other one. So this down. Oh my gosh. We got those. You can make these a little bit thinner if you wanted to. If you want only an eighth of an inch showing versus um, a quarter of an inch. It depends on what you like for that. And so these, what's nice is you can just line these up and then line the up with that. Make sure that one's lined up. I could put more adhesive on there, but I feel like just one down the middle works pretty darn good. All right, and then I have my layering shape. And I'm going to put it right there. All right. What I also do when I'm doing samples is um, I just use these because I think it makes it look better. So I'm going to put, so yeah, the sample, the one I originally showed you had an eighth of an inch. These are a quarter, which I think it depends on your preference for that. Put these down. There we go. I recycle these. There we go. When I put them together, and then what I end up doing is I just put a little bit of adhesive down the center, the repo, because either I can double mat or I can use my multi-purpose tool and just pop them off. And then I will recycle them. If they've been on there a while, they're a little bit harder to get off. And that's why I like to use the multi-purpose tool because that just gets right in between them. Okay. Excuse me. We are down to the stickers. All right. So for this one, on this side, we had, so like the trick or treat is here. And then we had um the witch. And I was gonna get, let's see, my uh destickify powder. It's anti-stick. So basically you just put it on there and it takes the sticky off for you, and then it makes it easier for I'm putting the thinner foam squares on there. Crib Memories had these for a little bit and they sold out really fast. I really hope that they bring those back. Did you know there is an email that you can send it to, like for product suggestions? It's located on the bottom of the website. All right, so she is flying off into the sunset. All right, got that one. And then we had an eyeball, blue eyeballs. Put this one on there. And then let's see, the this and this, a little candy corn, and then a star. Okay. And then at the top, we had the ghost was kind of just going behind that. And then we had the boo. One thing I also do is I can just put it on the top like that. All right. Some more foam squares. I love using foam squares. I know people say, oh, just you only need one. I feel like once you put these in your book, and if, especially if it's at the bottom of your book, it really needs to have more than one because otherwise it just kind of bends it and makes it off balance. All right. And then let's get a cute little bat. We'll give him some foam. The thin ones are nice because they don't, then you don't have as much thickness as well once you get them into your book. I also think foam squares are a great way to just give some dimension to everything. He's up here. And then Mr. Green Spider. Here's a spider. This powder lasts forever. I've had this for a very, I feel like a year. One thing, when you take the lid off, take it straight off, don't twist it. Like, I don't know why, but I was just thinking, oh, you have to twist it to take it off. No, that's not true. And then what happens is it's loosening, and I dumped it over once, and I completely dumped out everything that was inside. So that was a huge mess to clean up, and it was at the like a hotel at a crop I was at. And so, yes, be sure to pull the lid straight off. If you're wondering why I have a red sticker on these, I just put red stickers on all my stuff because then I can see very easily across the room, like who has some of my things. Because at events, I bring my stuff for people to borrow, which I love being able to share. But I just want to make sure I get them all back because I really, really like my hit punches. So some people use marker, some people use like label maker tape to say what it is. Yes, eventually I would love to do that part, but this just makes it super easy for me. All right, we need another bat. We're getting almost done. So luckily, like someone had given me some wipes because I was using one of the new inking things and I had ink all over my hands. And so someone had shared their wipes with me. Um, so that's, if you have are using the inks, be sure to have like some sort of wet wipes, baby wipes. It was funny, I actually bought baby wipes for the first time in, I don't, gosh, 17 years. My kids are all grown up and don't need baby wipes. And so it was just weird buying baby wipes, but it helps with getting the ink off your fingers and stuff and not spreading it everywhere. And so um, I used those baby wipes to clean up all the powder I had dumped everywhere. All right. Let's see if I can clean this up. Put my lid back on here. Oh my gosh. I just vacuumed in here and I don't want to have to vacuum again, but I probably will because this is really technically where my daughter sleeps, even though when she, excuse me, comes to visit, I feel like I could put something right there. Um, just because, let's see, I already used, do I have a blue, blue? Yep, I got a blue one. Maybe put I should have had that moved over a little bit more, but that's fine. We'll just put some stars right there. All right. Kind of put everything back. I'm going to show you the layout. So once again, this is using the Hide Eek collection along with the Songbird Blue cardstock and the pumpkin cardstock for the mats. Songbird Blue is using for the border punch. And just remember to put your ghosts upside down because I did mess that up. But I did that once before, and when I was doing my sample, and I ended up putting it on another layout and just covering up the ghost, and it was completely fine. So, they always say mistakes are just opportunities for more embellishments. I feel like opportunities to for more creativity because then you're like, okay, I have to figure out how to correct this. So, and luckily I had an extra, sheet of paper, which made it easy to do that. So, once again, my name is Tracy Walker. I am a creative memories advisor in the Des Moines metro area, just right smack in the Midwest. I do hold approximately 7 events a year in person at a local hotel. So, I'm going to put the description information below on how to connect with me, how to get on my email list, as well as how to sign up for my events. I would love for you to join us if you're interested in just a community of women who love to laugh, eat, and occasionally scrapbook. I laugh because sometimes we end up talking more about anything and everything than scrapbooking, but it's what's great about this group is this is our ways to escape our families and our homes, especially in the Midwest in the winter. So I hope you will join us sometime, and thanks again for watching and have a great day.